Hi, and welcome to Create and Inspire. This is Amanda from Rise and Procrastinate, and today we're going to do some no-line coloring with Not Too Shabby's Pup in a Cup and some Inktense pencils. So I stamped this off screen and used some antique linen distress ink, and I am just using some strokes to go in the direction that I feel the hair would go in. As you probably noticed in my finished product pictures that played in the front of the video, I am not making this a pug as the stamp is intended to be. I'm making this a Shih Tzu. Now, Shih Tzus are near and dear to my heart because my first dog that I ever had was a Shih Tzu. Now, her name was Missy, and she was a white Shih Tzu, so the dog that I am drawing today is not white, it is brown, and that's just because I am not very good at doing white images or white characters or white anything. I'm just not very good at coloring white images, so I just picked brown. I went a little heavier handed than I had intended this image to be, but that's okay. So off to the side while I'm coloring this, I have an inspiration photo that is a cartoon Shih Tzu. And that's what's helping me decide exactly how I'm going to be drawing or coloring this and how the hair is laying on the dog's face. And I highly suggest that if you don't know how to color something, just Google it. Google is a vast resource with a lot of information on how to color different things and whatnot. So that's what I use to decide exactly how the hair is going to lay. Now, while I'm coloring this, this is my first image that I have ever done no line coloring for, and it's very ingrained in my head to stay within the lines, and you don't want to do that with a no line coloring image. So you'll see that it does look a little funny as I'm going through this because I'm trying to stay within the lines, and that's not what you want to do. You want to cover up those lines. It's part of the reason why you stamp in a light colored ink, so cover up those lines because it's going to look funny. So eventually I will get with the program here and I will cover up those lines and it'll start to look more natural. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to darken the lines between the ears and the head and the little eyebrow lines and trying to strengthen them a little bit because I'm losing them. In the end, I'm going to lose them anyway, and it doesn't matter. The dog looks fine without them. But so that was completely unnecessary, basically. And I am using my phone to record this because I was filming on my old computer, or not filming, but I was using my old computer to run a job on my Maker, and I couldn't record and do my Maker at the same time, basically. So I did bump into my camera stand there, and yeah, I have one of those bendable mounts for my phone, and they kind of suck. You get the earthquake effect a lot if you're not careful. So sorry about the earthquake there. So I did decide that I didn't want to sit there and try to draw in all the little strokes and fill in all that white space there. So I did decide to bring out my paintbrush here, and I'm just going to activate the Inktense pencils and fill in all that white space there. And you just want to make sure that if you're not using watercolor paper, which I'm not, that you don't have a really, really wet brush. Mine is just barely damp here. And so that's why I'm doing this, is because I didn't like all the white space and I didn't want to sit there and take all the time to fill it in, basically. So I'm just going in the direction of the hair and separating out the sections, the head, top of the head, the ears, that kind of stuff, because I don't want to lose those sections, but I didn't want to sit there and fill them all in, basically. I was being lazy. So I am going to lose the definition that I just got of the texture I got with the hair, but I'm just going to go back in and draw it back in. We're just going to go back over it. So I'm just going to go back through all the colors that I had listed at the beginning of the video, and I'm just going to go back through them all and get that texture back in. It's not going to take that long. And of course I got the video sped up a little bit here. So I'm just going to go back through all of them and get that texture back in the hair. So, and this, I believe it's right around here, or maybe shortly after, is where I realized that I'm not covering up those lines very well. I mean, I have some of them covered up, but I don't have all of them covered up. So now we're going to start going over those lines and start covering them up so it doesn't look so funny. And I am also adding a white pen or white Inktense pencil here, but it's mainly just blending it a little bit. I mean, you get a little bit of the white, but later we'll add more white, and it looks a lot better when I add the white. So anyway, I chose the Shih Tzu because, like I said, I had a Shih Tzu, and her name was Missy. The kind of ironic thing here is I've been sitting on this video for quite some time. I got the stamp set shortly after it came out. I want to say it was almost 2 months ago or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while anyway. And I colored this and filmed this shortly after it came out, and I've been sitting on it. I edited the video quite a while ago too, and I've just been sitting on it. It's just been waiting to be voiced over, basically. And I noticed that Courtney needed some help with an extra video this month, and I offered her an extra video, and I said I already have this video edited. I noticed that you need some extra videos this month. Would you like me to, give you this video? All I need to do is voice it over. And, she of course first said no. She didn't want to put me out. And I'm like, look, it's already edited. It's already, all I need to do is voice it over. And she's like, okay, well, don't feel obligated, but it would help. And so I'm like, okay. Well, then Facebook Memories pops up and tells me that today has been exactly 10 years since Missy passed away. Now, how ironic is that? That I've been sitting on this video forever, and the day that I decide to finish it is 10 years since the day that Missy passed away. So it's almost like it was meant to be that I needed to finish this video today. I don't know. I just think that's so strange and ironic that that's just how this happened. But anyway, because today's the 31st. You guys won't be seeing this video until at least the 1st, because that's when it'll go live on the website, and it just depends on when you guys decide to view the video, I guess. But it won't go live on the website until the 1st, but I'm actually finishing this video on the 31st. But I just found that's so strange that I've been sitting on this video forever, and then the day that I decide that it needs to be finished is 10 years from the day that I've lost my little Missy. But anyway, happier things. So I'm just about finished here. I'm just making some final little adjustments. I'm smoothing out some areas and adding a little bit more texture here and there, and just making some final little adjustments. I did fidget around with this so much. And now I'm coming in with the black Inktense pencil, and I'm going to fill in the eyes. And I did break off the end of my little pencil here, and the biggest tip with working with pencils, whether they're watercolor or regular pencils, is make sure they're sharp. Don't do as I'm doing here. I should have sharpened that stupid pencil before I went in, and I ended up with a little blobby weird eye on one side because I didn't sharpen the stupid pencil. Make sure your pencils are sharp. Now I'm going to come back in with that paintbrush, and I'm going to activate the ink here, and it's going to make this eye so much darker, as you can see. And then I'm going to activate the ink on the nose too, because I colored that earlier. And then once these dry, I'm going to come in with my white gel pen, and I'm going to add some little white spots to the eye and a shine spot to the nose. And then this is where I decided that I wanted some more white in the hair. And I'm going to do those same stroke marks that I've been doing the whole time on the dog, and I'm going to add them with the gel pen. And this is where I think the texture just looks so much better. I mean, I think the dog looks good as is right now, but the texture just really comes out when I add that gel pen. And I am not really, I don't know, for some reason I just don't typically add gel pen details to my coloring. It's just not something that I think about, even though I see people do it in their videos all the time. But it's something that I forget. And this really added so much detail to this dog by adding this. And the pen just seemed to be skipping. I don't know what it is, because I don't think the Inktense pencils have wax in them, because they're ink. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not really sure the properties of them exactly. I just know that they're ink and not not your typical watercolor pencils. I don't think that they have wax in them, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. But for whatever reason, this pen was just really not wanting to work that great on this dog, and it was skipping a lot, but I think it just added more texture to the dog by its weird skippiness. Anyway, so I'm just, like I said, I'm just adding more texture with that white gel pen. Now I did color the cup off screen, and I used Willow and Baked Earth for that. And for the coffee, I used Bark and Dark Chocolate. And I also shaded the coffee cup with my Copics C4, C2, and C0 just to give it a little bit more roundness to it. I just wasn't getting the shading that I wanted to with the Inktense pencils for whatever reason. I just wasn't having good luck with that day. So then I did use some dies to cut out that paw print piece. I used a Tim Holtz Sizzix die, the stitched rectangles set, and then I just cut some layering pieces, and I fussy cut out the little sleeve for the coffee cup and the bow. The bow is a stamp from the Pup in a Cup set. I had to add the bow because every time we got Missy groomed, she would get these bows in her hair, and she would probably leave them in for about 2 minutes before she reached up with her paws and she ripped those things out, because she just was not into the fluffy, frilly, girly stuff. She was not having any of that. So we're just going to pop this Pup in a Cup image up on some foam tape. I'm just going to fluff my little bow up there, give it some dimension, and then we're going to move on to the sentiments for my card. So I am going to stamp the Happy Birthday from the Pup in a Cup stamp set, and I'm going to white heat emboss that on a scrap of black cardstock. And I was having trouble finding my embossing, my anti-static powder tool that day, if I can talk. I'm sure everybody can relate to that, losing things on their desks. And then I'm just going to stamp that in VersaMark ink and white heat emboss that. And I did cut this out with some MFT slanted sentiment strip dies. They are my favorite. Well, they're pretty much the only ones I have. I do have a couple other ones, but they're kind of small for most sentiments, so I don't use them very often. So I'm just going to glue that straight on the card. And then we're going to move on to the inside sentiment, because if you have been to my channel before, you know that I almost always decorate the inside of my cards and stamp a sentiment. So I went pretty simple with this one. I'm just going to stamp You Warm My Heart with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And then I'm going to use the Distress Festive Berries and stamp that, ink that up with the little, ink those little hearts up from the Pup in a Cup stamp set. I thought it would be cute to have little red hearts next to the You Warm My Heart. So I'm just going to glue down my card front here, and that is going to pretty much finish off my card. I hope that you enjoyed the card for today, and I hope that you check out the other creators on the Create and Inkspire website. There's lots of blog posts and videos to check out. Every month there is new content, and in the description box below the video there will be all my supplies and my social media links, my YouTube channel, all that good stuff. I hope that you will come over and check out my channel if you aren't already subscribed, and I hope you will subscribe. And as always, have a great day.